and welcome to today's video. In this video we are going to go about in replacing the bearings in these idler pulleys. If you watch some of my other videos, the one I released shortly after Christmas time with my 2006 Ford F-150, where I was driving home, had 1,000 kilometers to go, and this bearing started to fail and started to screaming. Now, if you remember from my video, I spent about $150 on parts, I think it was, when realistically, could have spent about 12 bucks on bearings. So, the dealership does not sell you bearings to replace in those pulleys. It's kind of a hit and miss situation, because if you take your vehicle to the dealership, they're probably going to charge you an hour or more to extract the bearing and put a new one in. So you're already paying 100 bucks labor, so at that price it's cheaper for the dealership to replace it. However, for people who don't like to get ass raped from the dealership, we like to do things ourselves. So with it being over Christmas time, I didn't want to go hunting around for a bearing, because a lot of the shops that sell bearings aren't open during the holiday season. So I had to fucking get ass raped and go to dealership, bend over, and get fucking pummeled just so I can get the parts to fix my truck. So the first thing we're going to do is extract the one pulley off the tensioner, and then we're going to pound both bearings out and put the new ones in.
Oh yeah, you can see how that one's just fucking hooped. Can you even feel it? See how it's moving? Alright, so I got my bearing here. This is kind of like a bearing seal punch. So basically sits inside of the bearing. So I'm gonna take a hammer on the vise and we're gonna fucking smash that out like a motherfucker. Alright, now that I smashed this bearing off, I wasn't able to use my bearing driver, seal driver all the way through because it got stuck because it's tapered, but you can see the bearing balls. This is very important. When this bearing's new, that bearing is filled with grease inside, and over the time that grease is just burnt up, and you can see how dry it is now. So now we're going to insert the new bearing. So there's the old pulley right there. You can see it's got a little ledge on the bottom where the bearing's going to ride. And then you want to put it across. The best way to put the bearing in is to press it, but I'm not digging my press out. It's in the corner of the garage and everything's just kind of fucked up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use my little bearing driver here, flip it around so the flat side is all the way across the bottom, because you don't want to be pounding the bearing with a punch, because if you start hitting the bearing, you're going to damage certain sections of it. Like if you hit the inner race or the outer race, you got to hit them both at the same time. The term is called burnelling, and burnelling is where you damage the bearing, and you may not notice it at first, but over time, because you slightly damage the bearing, if you put a ball slightly out around, it's going to cause wear, and it's going to make the bearing wear out faster. So now I'm going to flip this around, and we're going to tap that bearing in. Alright, we're all set up. The key is to try to get the bearing to go in straight. And I think I bottomed it out, and I did. There we go. She's in. Now to put it back together. There you go. Super smooth. And the bearing I'm using is 6203. 2RSHC3. Basically any 6203 bearing should work as long as the inside and outside diameter are the same. So now we're going to do the same to this one. Punch it out, put a new bearing in, and both of them are fixed. Now this is another method. If you're not afraid to beat your fucking sockets up, socket is another way to get the bearing out. You're going to see. See? Quick and effective with little no damage. Same motherfucking thing. We're gonna fucking smash this in. We're in the spot. That pulley's fixed.
So it's just a quick video to put some money back in your pockets for anybody who's having problems with their idler bearings and they need to get them fixed. And I was gonna fucking open up this beer, but I guess it's not a twist off. Fuck's sakes. You guys remember No Maintenance Tony? He had the Pontiac G5 and the previous owner of the Jeep who had me do some videos on his car and gave me this shit fucking beer. Fuck, it's been sitting in my fridge for a little while. Fucking ghetto. It's like if someone had diarrhea and shit in the fucking bottle, for fuck's sakes. So anyways, that's just a quick video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, post them below. And now we're on to the next motherfucking project, which is rebuilding the Sea-Doo engine.